Hey guys, this is Justin with Sillage Scents. I have a list of 10 fragrances for you today that will get you noticed, that will get you compliments. These are really good. And as I get going here, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that yet. We've got videos coming out every couple days, and I'd love to have you join us for this awesome fragrance journey. Also, let me know in the comments, what would you add to this list? What are some attention-getting, compliment-getting fragrances? I'd love to hear from you. All right, let's go ahead and dive in. This is one that's kind of like a modern classic. I think it's one of the best leather fragrances in the designer realm, maybe out there, and it's one that you can get at a pretty good price now. I'm talking about the original CH Men. Now, there's been a lot of talk about reformulation and performance and things like that, but this is a funny one. When I first started wearing it, I was getting 5-6 hours of performance, but as I've worn it a little more, I'm more in the 7 or 8 hour range. It'll last me through a whole work day, and this thing is beautiful. This is leather and saffron and cardamom. It is it's also got a sweet note in it. I can't remember if it's sugar. I believe it is sugar, something like that. It's not super sweet though. It's kind of a dry, slightly sweet, spicy leather. And this thing is mesmerizing. I love this one. I love Privé, although it's been discontinued. Fantastic leather fragrance, and one that as my nose and brain have gotten used to it more, I really do have about a 7 or 8 hour longevity with this one. I think it's still a fantastic pickup. All right, next up, we're going to go with one. This is a beautiful iris fragrance, and it's one that reminds me of several, and I've heard it compared to a blend of several of the sweet iris fragrances. I'm talking about ODYSSEY Homme EDP. And so this one is kind of like a blend of Dior Homme Intense, Gentleman EDP, and a little bit of Valentino UOMO Intense. Now, Dior Homme Intense has a little bit more of the lipsticky quality in the iris. This one isn't really lipsticky, but it is kind of a sweet and creamy iris, and it is gorgeous. You've got iris, you've got leather, you've got chocolate, you've got kind of an ambery sweetness. This one is a sweet, powerful fragrance, and the sillage and the scent cloud around you, I'm talking for 5-6 hours, you're going to constantly smell this thing. At least that's how it operates on my skin. I will smell it almost continually for hours. Longevity-wise, you know, I don't know for sure, but I know it's at least a 7 or 8 hour fragrance. It could be significantly longer than that. It's a beautiful iris, chocolatey, leathery fragrance like those other big name fragrances, and I absolutely love it. All right, we'll go with another one that's appropriate for largely cold weather like the last two. This one is a beautiful vanilla fragrance that's got some tobacco and other notes in it that make it pretty magical. I'm talking about Moustache EDP, and this one is heavily inspired by Yves Saint Laurent Tuxedo. Tuxedo might be slightly different, a little bit sweeter, maybe a little bit more pronounced in the spice area, but it's very, very similar. This one you're going to get a tobacco that is slightly green, even slightly metallic, so sort of a fresh tobacco leaf, but you also get a vanilla, you get some spiciness, you get some sweetness. It's a really great fragrance, and one that I'll go a month or two without wearing it, and I spray it on, and then I'll think to myself, man, why am I not wearing this all the time? I love this stuff, and it's pretty unique other than other clones of Tuxedo. This one is absolutely beautiful, highly recommended. All right, next up, we're going to go with one that's another cold weather fragrance, although you can wear what you want when you want. This one is a clone of a very expensive niche leather fragrance, and this is one that I bought. I'm not affiliated with this company at all, but I do recommend this fragrance. It is amazing. This is African Magic by Alexandria, and it is a clone of African Leather by Memo. And so this is the most mesmerizing leather, super spicy, sweet, fragrance. The leather is a little bit on the animalic side, not overpoweringly so. It's got a good bit of sweetness. It's got a good bit of spiciness with some cardamom and some pepper and some other things like that. But I'll tell you what, my wife doesn't typically like leather fragrances, but whenever I put this one on, she says, wow, you smell good. The sweet spiciness, the cardamom in this one with the leather is what really stands out and really grabs people's attention. This is a fantastic one. I think the Memo fragrance is like a 12 or 14 hour performer. This one is probably more like a 7 or 8 hour performer, but that's pretty good, and it is an awesome fragrance with a great scent. All right, this is another one that a lot of people would say is cold weather only, but I do wear this one in warmer weather because there is a fruitiness in this one that gives it a little bit of an edge that can lean into spring and even early summer. This is a beautiful orange vanilla fragrance. This is Ultra Red Man by PACO Rabanne. This one you've got vanilla, you've got orange, and you've got not toffee, praline, a praline note. So it's got a lot of sweetness for sure, but that orange, it's a very powerful orange note, makes this, I think, a little more versatile. It's not one I'd wear when it's 90 degrees outside, but when it's in the 80s like it is here in the Carolinas now, I absolutely wear this, and it absolutely works. But I'm going with 3 sprays rather than 5 or 6 like I do in the winter. Highly recommend this one. When I first saw this one, I saw Joy Amin had done a video about it, and I looked it up, and it was like $160, $170. So I said, forget that. But in the last year, this thing's come back down to around the $45 range, under $50 range. And I would highly recommend this at that price. It's got a little bit of a similarity, or maybe more than a little bit of a similarity, to Ultra Zest by Mugler. So Ultra Zest is sort of a creamsicle vibe. This is similar, and it's an awesome pickup. All right, one more that is definitely more in the realm for me of cold weather fragrances, and then the rest of them are going to be fresher and much more appropriate for warmer weather. So this one I absolutely love. This is Salvatore Ferragamo UOMO Signature, and this thing is a beauty and it's a beast. You've got tonka bean with a good bit of sweetness. You've got leather. You've got coffee. This thing actually reminds me more than a little bit of Armani Code Absolute. And even on Fragrantica, there's tons and tons of upvotes that this one smells like Code Absolute. Of course, Absolute, from what I understand, has been continued now, and this one's maybe 75%, 80% similar, and I love both of them. I have both of them, but this one being way, way cheaper, I'm much more comfortable spraying it on. This one you can get 100 ml in the $50 range, even a little under 50, and I would highly recommend this pickup. It's awesome, especially if you like Code Absolute, because they are similar. All right, here we go with a fresh fragrance, a blue fragrance. You can wear all year round, but this one does great in warmer weather, even though it's got some sweetness. I'm talking about ROCHAS L'Homme. Now, this one is a blue fragrance that's got some sweetness and some minty aromatic qualities that really cause it to stand out from the pack. Whenever you spray it on, you're going to get a little bit of a fruity opening that immediately begins to mix with some juniper berry and some basil and some other sort of minty notes that are in the heart. And of course, you've got ambroxan in this, giving you that kind of woody sweetness. But you've also got, I believe it's tonka in this one. It is tonka that it's got in this one that adds to that sweetness and that mintiness, although the vast majority of the notes in this one are in the realm of a freshie. So this is a great fragrance. I love a little sweeter fragrances that you can wear in the warm weather, and this is definitely one of them, ROCHAS L'Homme, and this is one that gets some compliments as well. Most of these have got a particular sweetness that causes them to be attention grabbing, and also have gotten me a good bit of compliments from the fragrances in this list. All right, next up, this is one that's kind of a year-round fragrance. I'm looking forward to trying it in the high heat. I can tell you it works great when it's in the 80s, and it works great in the winter and in the fall. I'm talking about MANCERRA's AOUD Lemon Mint. This one is a really interesting lemon fragrance. It's called AOUD Lemon Mint because of oud, but there's not a lot of oud in it. I'll tell you how the oud works. You've got an almond note in this that is pretty pronounced, and it reminds me actually strangely of the almond note in Pegasus, or the clones of Pegasus. But then you've got that sweet lemon, and you've got a little bit of a mintiness, and those come together as probably 90% of what you're going to get out of the fragrance. Sort of an almond, a sweet lemon, and a little bit of a mintiness. And then the oud comes in and just kind of tones down those notes. Because if all there was the sweet lemon and the almond and the mintiness, then this probably wouldn't work at all in warmer weather. But man, you put in a little bit of oud to level it out and kind of calm it down. And this is a great fragrance for pretty much all year round, pretty much every circumstance. It's got almost a gourmand quality. I've heard Ash from Gent Scent say it reminds him of lemon heads. I've heard others say it reminds him of lemon meringue pie. It's an awesome, awesome fragrance. All right, just two more. This next one, this is a single note fragrance. It's kind of a clone of Molecule 01 by Eccentric Molecules, except this is a $25 Extrait de Parfum. I'm talking about Oak City Beard Company's ISOE Super. And so this is a sweet, woody, very sort of airy, kind of ozonic, mysterious fragrance that you can either wear by itself. It's not too dissimilar from Ambroxan in the way that it's sort of ethereal, airy, woody, sweet. It's a little bit thicker or heavier than Ambroxan would be. So you can either just wear it as a very mysterious fragrance that every hour you're going to get a strong waft of. This is a pretty long-lasting fragrance as well. It's at least 8+ hours. And for the price on Amazon, right around $25, you can't beat it. But what you can also do is you can add this to just about any fragrance to amp up the performance, amp up the projection, because this ISOE Super is used in many fragrances to carry the scent of a cologne or perfume, and it does that if you spray it on top of just about any other fragrance. All right, the last one that I'm going to mention, this one is super unique. This is really a niche-like fragrance, even though it's from a designer brand. I'm talking about Moschino Toy Boy. And so this one is a rose fragrance. It's a spicy, fresh rose fragrance. And so what you're going to get with this one is probably 80% rose. That's the vast majority of what you get out of this one. But it's not an overly sweet rose. And this sounds weird, but it's not an overly feminine rose. It's definitely a unisex fragrance. But there is a spicy quality to this. And there's also a little bit of a woody quality to this that make it very appropriate for a man to wear. And so this is a fresh rose, slightly spiced fragrance. This is the 15 ml travel size. It's all I need because this is a beast mode performer. I will spray this on and take a shower and I'll still be smelling it on me. I let my son wear this to something we did recently and it was on him for hours and hours and hours. And so this is one that you will like if you like rose, but don't spray it on unless you want it to be with you for a while, because this one is a mega performer. And that one also can be picked up at a very reasonable price, even for the bigger size bottles. All right, so these have been attention-grabbing fragrances. They'll get you noticed. A lot of them will get you compliments. But again, let me know down in the comments, what would you add to this list? And again, please subscribe to my channel. We've got great content coming out every couple days, and I hope to see you on those in the future. I'm Justin. This has been Sillage Scents. Thanks.